Hello and welcome to this lecture. In the previous lecture, you learned what are conditional statements and when to use them. In this lecture, you will be learning how to implement conditional statements and the different types. Let's get started by opening Python's idle environment. The first conditional statement which we will be talking about is the if condition. Now let me define a variable using which we will be learning how an if condition is implemented. So I have my variable total marks and let me assign it with the value 95. So what an if condition does is it takes in a condition and validates it to either true or false. If the result of my if condition is being validated to true, a block of code follows which is then executed. Now if my if condition validates to false, that block of code is not executed. Let's see how that works. Now I will be writing an if statement to check if my total marks exceeds or is equal to 90. I do that with the help of relational operator. So I check if my total marks is greater than or equal to 90 and I end my if statement with the colon. So what the colon denotes is that there is a block of code following the if statement which is to be executed if my if condition evaluates to true. So under this I can have my print statement which says congratulations, you have secured an A grade. Now what you need to note here is the indentation that is being provided. Now Python mandates the indentation, which means the block of code under your if condition should have an indentation and it is mandatory. Now I can have multiple lines under this if condition, but all of them should have the same indentation. Now if I execute the statement, let's see what the result will be. I have my result as congratulations, you have secured an A grade. Now let's see what happened. Initially, the value stored in my variable total marks is 95. Now the if condition checks with the value 95. It checks if 95 is greater than or equal to 90, which is true. On successful execution, it prints the statement, congratulations, you have secured an A grade. Now let's see what happens if my total marks was 80. Let me just copy paste the same code. Now as you can see, there is no output. So what happened? The total marks 80 is not greater than or equal to 90, because of which this print statement was not executed. The next statement which we will be looking at is the if-else condition. Now what an if-else condition does is the else is more like a backup plan. Say what if my if condition failed, like in this case. In that case, you can have a block of code under your else condition which will then be executed. Let's see how that works. Now I have the value 80 in my total marks. So let me have the same if condition to check if the total marks is greater than or equal to 90. And then what you need to make sure is to start your else condition from the beginning of the line. The if condition started from the beginning of the line. Don't let these lines confuse you. This is the beginning of the line where the if condition started, and your else should be in the same indentation which is the beginning of the line. Now in my else I can have a block of code which says you have cleared the examination. Now let's see on execution of this if-else condition what my result would be. As you can see, the total marks is 80, which is not greater than or equal to 90, because of which this execution failed. And then my else condition got triggered and I have the output as you have cleared the examination. The next statement which we will be looking at is the if-elif statement, or rather the condition. So what an if-elif does is you can have an if condition within an else condition. So if your first if condition failed, you can have another if condition which will check for another condition. So let's see how that works. So let me reassign total marks with the value 60. Now if I say, let me just copy paste the same if condition. Now this if condition will fail because total marks is equal to 60. So next what I will do is to have an else condition. So what it does is the else statement gets triggered and I'm having an if condition. The combination is called else. So here I check if my total marks is greater than or equal to 40. In this case, I print a statement and say, congratulations, you have cleared the examination. Now you can have multiple else conditions. So I could have another else condition following this, which will get executed if this else condition fails. And at the end of all the else condition, you can have an else condition which triggers if all the other if and else condition fails. In this case, let me print, you have failed the examination. So now on execution of this if else condition, let's see what the output will be. We have the output as congratulations, you have cleared the examination. So what happened is I have the value 60 in my total marks, and it first checks if 60 is greater than or equal to 90, which is false, because of which this if condition evaluates to false. Now the next else gets triggered and I check if my total marks 60 is greater than or equal to 40, which is true. Now since this evaluated to true, the block of statement under this got executed, which is to print the statement congratulations, you have cleared the examination. Now in case my total marks was less than 40, it would have printed you have failed the examination. The final condition which we will be talking about is the nested if condition. So what is a nested if condition? An if condition within another if condition is called a nested if condition. Let's see what that is. Let me reassign my total marks to 100. Now let me have the same if condition, which is to check if my total marks is greater than or equal to 90. Now within this if condition, I'll also check if my total marks is equal to 100. If it is, then I will print a statement, you have also secured full marks. Now let's see what the output of this execution will be. So my total marks is greater than 90, because of which it printed congratulations, you have secured an A grade. And also this if condition within the previous if condition is also true, which is my total marks 100 is equal to 100, and I have the output, you have also secured full marks. That's the end of this lecture. You learned what an if condition is, how if else condition works, how indentation works in Python. You learned about if else conditions, and finally you learned how an if condition works within another if condition. The next lecture, we will be discussing how to have an if condition evaluate multiple conditions with the help of logical operators, and I'll see you there. Thank you.